Today we're going to go over what I've done so far to build a real estate investor funnel map to generate motivated seller leads through Facebook. So the main overview here, this is a top level overview of the funnel, is at the top of the funnel. We're going to start to build our interested audience. And I'll go into more how we'll do that using videos in the funnel map. From there, once we started building that audience, we're going to try to convert that audience, and that's through Facebook lead ads or Facebook conversion ads, which I'll also dive into a little bit later. And from there, we may have some people who go ahead and submit their address, but maybe we don't get their contact information, or they open a lead form and they don't submit it. So I put those people further down the funnel in an audience called abandoners, which we'll target as well. And then obviously the bottom of the funnel here is if we've gotten someone to go through that entire process, we speak to the seller, see if they're qualified, and then schedule an in-person meeting with them. So I'm going to flip over to the funnel map that I've created. So I made this in a software called Funnel Mappy. It's free if you only want to make 2 funnels. If you want to do more, I think you pay about $5 a month. So just a broad overview of how this works. So each of these icons can be clicked. I'll share this in the comments below on the video. So you can click here and it will tell you exactly what I'm setting up in this campaign here and how, for example, if you go here, you can see that I'm doing this in Facebook, that I'm targeting a certain area, and I do that for each one of these steps so you can get a better understanding of what I've done during each phase. You're also going to see these yellow boxes here, or yellow diamonds, and what that means is this is where a yes or no scenario happens. Did the person click through, or did they watch 75% more of the video? Because the way we target future ads is going to change based on the prospect's actions. And the final thing to keep in mind, you can click, is these gears here. So these are little things that kind of happen on the back end with software that you probably need to set up, things like Facebook events, custom conversions, updating statuses in CRMs. So you can click on those and see exactly what I'm planning to set up at each stage of this funnel. Awesome. So we'll move over here. We're just going to go right through the funnel. I'll zoom out real quick so you get an overhead view. You can see it's pretty large, but I'll go through pretty quickly here. And then some of these actually lead, you'll see, actually into additional funnels, right? So we'll start from the beginning. So I'm going to zoom back in. And keep in mind, this is just a funnel map I built out. There's a lot of testing that's going to have to happen to perfect this funnel. But this is my initial thoughts going in, and obviously we'll test a lot of things, see which ads work, which strategies don't, and this will probably get modified as I build out the campaign. So what I like to do is I like to start out with a really broad audience, especially with Facebook's ad restrictions around real estate. They're really not going to let you target certain specific characteristics that you could usually target with Facebook ads. So, for example, the minimum target area now, if you're doing real estate related ads with Facebook, is 15 miles. So you're going to need to pick a wider area. And they also limit a lot of your different targeting options like age and things like that for fair housing reasons. So diving in here, I'm targeting Connecticut. That's where I buy investment properties. So I picked a point that's kind of in the center, which is Milford, of where my target area is. So you have to play around with that center point. Because of the new Facebook targeting, if you're trying to target one very specific neighborhood or one zip code, Facebook is probably not a good solution for you. So only if you're looking to buy in an area it's 15 miles or wider. So once we have our audience established, which we can create in the Facebook saved audiences, and I'll dive more into that in later videos. You'll see here it says Tofu video ads. So Tofu just stands for top of funnel. So what I do here is I plan to create a couple different versions of 15-second video ads, and these will be shown to people who have not seen any of my ads before, and they'll show up on the Facebook and Instagram news feeds, which you can set up in the Facebook ad portal. The objective here I use is brand awareness. A lot of people say, why aren't you trying to use conversions or lead ads at this point? And the reason is here, I'm just using this to build my audience. If you set an ad for conversions on Facebook, or you set an ad for lead forms, for example, your ad actually costs a lot more per an impression. I ran an ad the other day, and it was $1.25 for 1,000 impressions when I was using a brand awareness objective. And then when I switched over to a conversions objective, I was paying $8 because that traffic, Facebook is a bidding system and they price it differently. So what I like to do is I use this video ad to build my audience and create brand awareness. And I will dive more into on later steps how we use it to build the audience. So the first way we can build the audience is, does the prospect click the ad, right? Obviously, if they click the ad, there's some kind of interest there, and then we'll add them to our website visitor audience once they visit our landing page. Another way you can see if someone's interested is if you have your video set up in the right way, where you're figuring out what the problem is in the first step of the video, and then people who continue to watch that video more than a certain amount of time are probably interested, or they have that problem, right? So my videos will probably start with something along the lines of, need to sell your home quickly, question mark, don't want to do renovations, don't want to deal with a real estate agent, things like that. And if people continue to watch that video to 75%, then they're probably at least somewhat interested in what I have to offer. So my videos, again, are very short at this stage, only 15 seconds. So someone who's watching 75% of that, I'm going to add them to this video watchers audience here. The third way that we know is if someone engages with the ad, right? Do they like it? Do they write a comment? Do they visit our Facebook page, right? So if you click under here, I get into all the specific steps around engagement. And here's the exact setting that you would need to set up in Facebook. And you can see in the Ads Manager here, when I say brand awareness, this is what I'm using right here, the brand awareness objective. I'll dive more into that later on a different video. So from here, what happens if they click that ad, right? They are going to go to a landing page, and I'm having that landing page designed now, but the landing page will simply explain that we buy houses for cash and all the potential benefits of that, quick closing, all those things. And on this page, people can enter their address to get a cash offer. I don't ask for any contact information on this page, and the reason for that is in the past campaigns I found that if people put in their address first and then are brought to a second step to enter their contact info, we get a higher opt-in rate. So you can see here we have a gear, so that just notes that the Facebook pixel is going to fire when the prospect lands on the site, and that's just so we know in Facebook that they have visited our site, and that allows us to add them to our website visitors audience. So I'm going to target people who, the website visitors audience is going to be people who visited that landing page in the last 30 days. So from there, what we're going to do is all those people who've gone through all these steps are going to go into what I call the MOFU, which stands for Middle of Funnel Retargeting Audience, unless if at the landing page they submitted their contact info. They submitted their address. And the Middle of Funnel Retargeting Audience, you can see it includes all these other audiences here, and they live in the target area, and I exclude audiences in Facebook, and I'll show you that in a different video. If they've already submitted their address to us or they've already submitted their contact info, then we don't want to be targeting those people. That's a waste of ad money, or we want to be serving them different ads. So we'll jump into that at a later time. So in the case that they came to our site, or they watched a video, or they engaged with our ad, but they did not submit their address, we'd want to hit them with a retargeting ad. So now we know that they have some level of interest. We can switch our objective over here in Facebook to either conversions or lead generation. So conversions, that'll bring them to your website, people who would opt in through a form on your site. Facebook will optimize it for that. Or lead ads are those forms on Facebook where you can submit your info without leaving Facebook. So I'm going to A/B test that, and what that means is I'm just going to run 2 different campaigns and see which gets me leads that are cheaper or leads that are higher quality, and then make a decision there on which method to use going forward. You know, we already know these people are interested, so we're okay spending more now on those conversion or lead ads instead of wasting that money earlier in the funnel. So the ad type I'm going to use is a dynamic creative image ad. Again, I will dive into this more in another video, but essentially this ad allows you to submit a ton of different images and copy. Facebook will then use its algorithm to serve the ads best that will convert for each specific user. So each specific user on Facebook is going to see the ad that would convert best for that person. So that's a really easy way. Instead of A/B testing a million different types of copy and images, Facebook will do that for you. So now different scenarios here, right? So you'll see these arrows come across here. There's a couple things that could happen, right? We're retargeting these people for a while. They could ultimately end up submitting their information on a lead ad or a conversion ad, and now they're back into the funnel here. Now, if someone, back up to here, if someone does submit their address, we're then going to bring them to a second page, which is going to ask them to enter their email and phone number to claim their cash offer. Again, I found this works better than submitting it all on one page and some campaigns I've done in the past, so we're going to try that out. Now, it's possible that some people come here and they say they enter their address and they're like, I'm not going to put in my contact info. So what do we do here? We're going to add them, first of all, to the what's called BOFU, so bottom of the funnel abandoners audience. So abandoners are, you can see here, people who submitted their address, they're in the target area, but we exclude people who have submitted their contact info. So it's only people who submitted their address, but we don't have their phone number, email, etc. So with those people, our goal is to get that contact information. So a couple different ways we can do that. We can throw them in a abandoners ad. So we're going to use that abandoners audience. We're going to try to draw them back. It'll be very similar to the retargeting ad before, in the sense that we're going to use a dynamic creative ad. The only difference here is we're going to use a little bit different messaging, right? You know, they've already submitted their address, so we know they have some interest there, and we're going to say, hey, come back and claim your cash offer, right? You've already submitted your address. One more step to get your cash offer. We could try something like that. Alternatively, we could try handling different objections in the ad. You know, people may want to know why they should sell their house for cash as opposed to a real estate agent. We can address these different things in the ad. So similar ad objectives where we're going to test lead ads and conversion ads, but different way that we are going to go ahead and approach this in order to make sure the messaging is matching what the person is looking for. So other things that can happen at this stage here. So either they may fill out their contact information, but as a lot of us know from doing real estate investment stuff, there's other ways to get people's contact info once we have their address. So you can see here, we're going to obviously add that address to our automated marketing software, and then we're going to skip trace that address, see if we can get their phone number, see if we can get their email, and then reach out to them that way. We're going to, if we do find that information, we'll add them into a sequence. So we'll send them direct mail saying, claim your cash offer, and we can automate all this. You know, day 1, maybe we send a piece of direct mail and send a text message. Day 3, ringless voicemail. We'll do calls. Whatever information we have, we'll use that to try to get in touch with the person. And I'm going to build a whole separate drip flow for that, so I'm not going to dive too much into that here. Now, if they reply, then we're obviously going to schedule a phone call, and they'll move further down the funnel. Now, there's 2 things that happen here. So if someone did come to that landing page and they submitted their contact info, or we're going to do 2 steps. You see both things happen if there's a yes here. So first thing that's going to happen is the complete registration Facebook event is going to trigger. What that just does is allow us to build an audience based off that. So that's going to allow us to create that contact submitted audience, which we then, and you saw in previous ads, we're not going to show ads to people if they've submitted the previous ads that they submitted their contact. At the same time, after they do that, we're going to ask them a survey about the property. We're going to bring them a couple of different pages. Some people may fill it out, some may not, but the more info we get, the better. And at least we already have their contact info, right? But if they're willing to sit there and give us a little more info about their property, I break it up into several steps so we get that information along the way, but we don't, and that way we don't lose out if someone decides halfway through the form they don't want to continue. So we break that on a few pages. Each of these steps of the way, we're going to create custom conversions for those. So in Facebook, a custom conversion just lets us track how many times an action happened and how much it costs to get that. So how much did it cost not only for us to get a contact, but how much did it cost to get someone to fill out the survey? How much did it cost for someone to book a time on our calendar for a call, etc. So we're going down here. They'll book a time on the call. Again, it's going to fire another custom conversion on Facebook. Then they'll be thrown into an automated appointment reminders campaign. And all this is a bunch of texts and emails to them, reminding them of when we're going to call them so they don't miss that call. And then we schedule a phone call. At the same time, 5 minutes after they submit the lead, we're going to send them an automated text, just basically asking if they're available now to speak. Even though they may pick a time, it's really important to get back to leads. From my experience, especially on the agent side, you have a couple minutes to contact a lead. Otherwise, you may lose that lead. So we'll send that within 5 minutes, and then we're going to wait 2 minutes, and then I have an auto phone call in our marketing automation software. And what that does is it will call my cell phone if I'm available. I pick up the phone call. It will say, hey, you've got a new lead. Can you connect now? Do you have time? Just press a number and I'll connect to you. So I'll try to get in touch with the prospect right away and have a phone call with them, even if they've picked the time. The reason I delay this for a few minutes instead of right away is because if they're in the middle of filling out the property survey, I don't want to interfere with that, right? So I want to give them a few minutes. There's not that many questions, so they could probably get through it in about 5 minutes. So I don't want to break up that rhythm that's happening there. Now we have some different options here. I mean, does the prospect answer the phone? A lot of people don't, right? So if they don't answer, we throw them into a new lead drip campaign. And the goal of this campaign is to get a response. So emails, text messages, ringless voicemails, phone calls, all automated in order to get them to respond to us, and really heavy for the first week that we're trying to go after it. Now from there, you'll see I have the arrows here that are clear. This is just to show that this does not go into this. This also goes here. So we'll also serve them top of mind video ads. So I'll get more into that a little later in the funnel. Now let's say the prospect does answer the phone. Great. So are they interested in selling their property right away, right? No. And if they're not, well, we're going to put them in the future sellers funnel. So again, it's a drip campaign. It's a little less aggressive than when they first put the lead in, but we're just trying to stay top of mind, right? They may see the ad, they may want to sell in 6 months, but we don't want them to call another investor. So we can send them content by email, direct mail. We can call them once a month, automatically send them text messages that look very personalized. So we'll set up that, and they'll dive a lot more into detail on that in a future video. And let's go, and then we'll serve them top of mind video ads, which I'll get into in a minute. Now let's say they do want to sell the property right now. Great, and they're reasonable, or they seem like they may be a good prospect. Well, we're going to view the property and make an offer. A couple of things can happen when we make an offer, yes or no, right? If the offer is accepted, great. We'll add them to the offer accepted audience, so we exclude them from ads, so we don't waste money advertising to them anymore since we've already secured their property. And just to do that, I have the little gear here. That means in the CRM system, we just need to update that audience, that contact status to offer accepted, so that we don't send them those ads and we exclude them in that audience. Now, there's a good chance the seller says no to our offer. Our offer is too low, or it's not the right time. They want something else. So that's okay too. I mean, they may accept again in the future. So what we do is we put them in the offer rejected stage in our CRM, and that throws them into a whole new funnel, which is offer rejected. So again, I'll dive into this a lot more in detail, but we can do things like, at that stage, I'd automatically send them a handwritten thank you card. It was a pleasure to meet you. If you do reconsider the offer, feel free to reach out. You can send them an official letter automatically when we update that stage saying, hey, here's our offer. If you change your mind, you just have this, and maybe they'll hold on to that and put it on their fridge, and they'll call us back at a later time. So all of that, ringless voicemails, text messages, we're going to follow up with them and kind of nurture that person, because 3-6 months down the line, they may decide that actually, that offer that you made them was fair and they want to move forward. And the final thing is kind of these all go to one place, which is we want to stay top of mind with video ads, right? And you can see here I use the objective video views in Facebook. Reason I do that instead of conversions or instead of lead ads, we already have their lead, we have their contact information, and video views on Facebook are much cheaper than trying to push people to conversion. Facebook wants to keep people on Facebook so they can serve more ads. So if you're trying to get people off Facebook to your website, they're going to charge you more for that. At this point, we're just trying to stay top of mind. I'll get into a lot more details about this, but we're going to target people who've submitted their contacts, but we haven't submitted. They haven't accepted our offer. We'll run it at a fairly low frequency. Frequency is how often people see the ad to save money. And then we're going to use multiple videos, right? So as we talk to more and more people, we're going to understand what their objections to selling are, how we can make them feel more comfortable. And another trick I like to use is, we may have a lot of different videos in that ad set, but if someone has already watched at least half of one of the videos, and these are a little bit longer videos, maybe they're 30 seconds, maybe they're a minute or a minute and a half, but they've already watched half, they're not going to watch that video again, and we're wasting money advertising to them. So if we have 7, 8, 9 videos here, after they've watched half of one, and I'll show this in a later video, is we're going to exclude them just from that specific video. So they should, if they've watched more than 50% of any video, they'll never see that specific video again. So to them, it always seems like you're giving them fresh content, even though you've only created the content one time. So that's like an overhead view of the funnel. Obviously, as I make these campaigns and test them out, I will keep you guys updated. I will make step-by-step instructions on how you actually go in Facebook Ad Manager and make all these and create your audiences and all that type of stuff. But for now, I just want to show you my outline. Again, this is my first shot at doing this for an investment campaign for myself. So I've done a lot of other campaigns, but I'm not sure what's going to work here and what's not. So this funnel map will certainly change as we iterate along the way.